Good morning, everybody. Thursday already. So it was nice to see most of you yesterday. It was a bit of a confusion, wasn't it, with the meetings and my computer. Anyway, we're trying lots of things out, and I hope you managed to learn something yesterday if you were there. Most of you were. Some of you I saw lots of. Some of you I know were there but very quiet, and I think a couple of you, for whatever reason, couldn't quite make it. So no worries, we will keep trying with these things. And when we talked about fractions, which I'm going to start with today, we were using the fraction words a lot because we were saying them. So instead of saying 3 over 5 or 3 out of 5, for instance, we were also saying 3/5, for example. So we're trying to use the words for the denominators, the bottom number, as best we can. So the work that you've got to do in your Intermath book for today and tomorrow, well, I know a couple of you have already done it, really focuses on the words, what the words look like. You don't have to know the spellings, but you have to recognize them. So instead of seeing 7, you see 7th, for example. Okay, so we'll just have a very quick look at those. Generally, the kind of words we're dealing with have got a TH on the end. So sevenths, okay? If you've got 7 as your denominator, it's a number of sevenths, isn't it? So we've just got one of them, 1/7. Okay, if we've got 2 of them, 2/7. Okay, with the S on. So if it were to be written down in words, that's what it would look like. Okay, sevenths. I ticked it because it's like a normal one. It follows the pattern where you have the normal number 7 with th on the end, or th if you've got more than one in the numerator. 6 is quite a normal one because if you've got 6, you take the word 6, you add th, and then if there's more, let's say you've got 3/6, then you'll also need an S when you write it down. So this follows the normal kind of pattern that you have the number word, then you have the TH, and if there's more than one of them, you need an S as well. Okay. Fourths follows the same kind of pattern. Okay, take the number 4 as a word, fourths, like they would say in America. But we know that there's another way of expressing that particular denominator. What is it? If you've got a 4 at the bottom, it could be number of fourths or quarters, couldn't it? So that's got a special word, which I'll write up to remind you. And I know some people need reminding about that R, quarter. Okay, so it's got an R in the middle and an R at the end. Okay. This one. Very similar, but instead of saying 5, we don't say 5ths, but we say 5ths. That one's a little bit different. Okay, 5ths. What about this one though? This is a bit weird, isn't it? So we don't say 3ths, do we? What do we say? You tell me? Yep, thirds. Okay, so 2/3. Remember, we only use these words for the denominator, okay, the name of the fraction. And if we've got a 2 at the bottom, because we've divided our whole one into 2 separate parts, we don't say tooths, do we? Or teeth, that would be really weird. We say half. Okay? Yeah, and you know that, 1/2. Okay? What have we done? Oh yeah, number 8. Just about see that on the paper. So we take the spelling of number 8, which is already tricky, isn't it? 8. Then we want to put th on the end, but because there's already a T there, we don't need another T. So we just need to add an H there, which makes it quite strange looking at the end, HTH. Okay, so that would be, there we go, there, a number of eighths. And if there are, let's say we've got 7/8, okay, 7/8, then we'd obviously need an S there as well. Okay, 9ths. So it's a bit like, so we've got 9 whatever, instead of including the E, for some strange reason, we don't add the E. And it looks a bit like ninth, but that's how we actually write ninth. That's another strange English thing, isn't it? So let's imagine we've got 5 ninths, look like that. Tenths is a nice normal one, it can have a tick. Okay, number of tenths. And we take the word 10 and we just put the th, 1/10. Okay, there was 7 of them, 7 tenths. Okay, so a lot of those you can recognise, but you can always use this little video if you need to go and check something. Obviously, we could go on forever. There's an infinite number of fraction words, 11ths, 12ths, 13ths, 14ths. But if I keep on like that, I'm going to end up giving this screen a shower because it kind of makes you want to spit. So there are the exercises for today. So you've got to match up the correct number fraction with the correct word fraction and do the right colouring. So you can do that with colour codes, lines, but you do need to do some shading in on that one. What about here? It's like a domino game on a piece of paper. You don't play the game, you just write the pieces. So you've got a smiley face to start with, 2/4. So 2/4 is already there. They've written 2/4 in numbers. Then next to that you go on to a different fraction, 2/3. So here you have to write, adjoining it, touching it, 2/3 as numbers with a numerator and a denominator. Okay. Now next to that is going to be a different fraction. You think, what shall I write here? Let's see what's touching it. So you look at that one. What's touching this space? 3/4 or 3/4. So you need to write it. If that's in numbers, you need to write that in words. Okay. So that one's done. Then you go to the next space along. Okay. What should you write here? You need some more words. The words that match the one that's touching it again. Okay. So you have a look there. There's your 3/8. So you need to write in words 3/8. So by the time you've finished, you have a whole sequence of touching dominoes where you've got the word version next to its number version, the word version next to its number, the words next to its number, the words next to its number, the words next to its number, and so forth. Okay? And then here, really, it's a bit of a reading exercise. If you have trouble reading, anybody, get somebody to just read them out for you, and then what you need to do is follow the track. So you can see A is 1/8. So 1/8 in words, you find 1/8 up here. Okay. Now B is 2/6. 2/6. You read that. Now you've got to find where is 2/6 adjoining that green one. Okay, so hopefully you can see 2/6 is actually this one here. So you then colour it in, and each time you go, you'll be colouring one in, and you'll end up making a path from the baby down to the baby's bottle. But you've got to see, does the path go like this? Does it go like that? How does the path go? Okay, and following up, yeah, not too tricky, but just be careful. What part is missing? Okay, so you look at how much pizza you've got, but they're interested in how much is missing from the pizza. How much is already gone? So it's this part that's missing from the pizza, and they've told you there's 1/4 missing from that pizza. So they've given you the words, you need to write it in numbers, okay, with a numerator and a denominator. Here, they've given you what's left, so how much of that pizza is missing? Think about it, look at what else you've got on the page to help you. Then you need to write what's missing here in words and then in numbers with a numerator and a denominator. So in words, we mean in this kind of way, okay? In numbers, we mean in this kind of way. And it's what's missing. These get a bit trickier, be careful. You might find things to help you by flicking back as well to looking at things, yeah, shapes that you've coloured in here as well. That might well help. Okay, so that's your fractions for today. Water cycle, very much following on from yesterday. So yesterday, hopefully you listened and joined in with our video lesson, but also on your own you will have had time to watch that YouTube clip about evaporation and condensation. And then this morning, you're going to listen to the same information presented as a song. And as most songs have a chorus, parts that are repeated and repeated. The chorus helps you remember what evaporation is, what condensation is, and what precipitation is. Okay, so all the clips from yesterday and today will help you. I'm not going to tell you. You can think about it. You can look back on those clips to remind yourselves that the song will really help you. And then there's a little bit of writing for you to do, either writing it down or typing it up. And then hopefully you can send me that just to explain what is condensation, what is evaporation. And again, the words from the song will really help you with that. It's not a big piece of writing, it's just short. And 4 different types of precipitation. Remember, precipitation is what falls from the clouds, normal clouds. Okay, not dream clouds, normal clouds. So there's the obvious one, but depending on how cold it is, you might also get different types of precipitation, not just the obvious. Right, if you do a different L1 from English, you could say goodbye now, unless you really want to stick around and hear about nouns and adjectives. Those of us who do L1 English with me and the Firework Maker's Daughter, you hang on. Okay, so cheerio to everybody else. We'll see you tomorrow on the video clip. Okay, and you guys doing the Firework Maker's Daughter, by now I should have received, I hope, or be receiving your ideas for Leela's fireworks. So I cannot wait to be reading them. I haven't read any of them yet. I know a couple of them have already arrived, but I'm looking forward to reading all of those probably when I finish talking to you. So that should be done. And your next task is to read 98, 99, 100, 101, 4 pages, which you've got attached to your work tasks. And it's all about the other competitors who arrive for the New Year Festival and the firework competition. There are some really long words on those pages because there's a German called like Herr Puffenflasche. There's an Italian, Signor Scorcini. There's an American, I can't quite remember who else. So they've got these wonderful names. They've got really good names for the groups of people that come with them, their organisations. They might have brought a choir or an orchestra, lots of long words. But remember, you don't have to always understand every single word that Philip Pullman uses. Just like Rudyard Kipling, he likes to use fancy words just because they sound good. Herr Puffenflasche. See, Lawrence and Ginevra and Elia might even know what that actually means because they learn German. I have no idea what Puffenflasche means, but I love the word. Love it. Anyway, all these people turn up. That's what you're reading about. And on the worksheet attached to your work, there are some questions really about the grammar, about the parts of speech. Okay, today just to remind ourselves about nouns and adjectives and so forth. So one of the questions is about proper nouns. Now, we reminded ourselves about nouns just before the holidays. Nouns are places, things, people, feelings, the names of objects, or sometimes things we can't touch. Yeah? Okay. So computer is a noun. Pen is a noun. Happiness is a noun. Can't touch happiness, but it's the name of that feeling, for example. Okay, but when we get special nouns that are particular names, we know that we have to give them capital letters. So even though I am the noun woman, Elizabeth is my proper noun name. It takes a capital E. Or Mrs. Heyman, capital M, capital H, because it's my proper noun. Yeah, I could be looking at you and just say boy, but Gabrielle, Lawrence, Luca, Alex, etc., they're the proper nouns, aren't they? Or I could be looking at you and say girl, but Aliyah, Nicole is the proper noun. Remember? Okay, same day, normal noun, but Thursday is the proper noun. Hopefully that's reminded you. Okay, so you've got to try and find proper nouns about the names of people or proper nouns given to a place. So rather than just town, Varese is a proper noun with a capital V. Proper nouns of organisation. So instead of saying Orchestra with a little O, Royal Philharmonic Orchestra of London would take a capital R, a capital P, a capital O, and a capital L for London. So all of these capitals when it's the special name of an organisation. Or even a title. I've got here Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. Capital C is his name, but it's also an important word in the title. Chocolate Factory with capital letters, purely because it's the main words of the title of this story. So titles of plays, films and songs and other things, or maybe even fireworks, might have capital letters. Okay, so the big clue is the capital letters. Okay, so if you look at the words with capital letters, they're probably proper nouns that you can use to fill up parts of the table that you need to fill out for your homework. Just be careful if your capital letter word comes at the beginning of a sentence. Has it got a capital letter just because it's at the beginning of a sentence, or is it a proper noun as well? So you be careful with those. So the table's got lots of spaces. There aren't necessarily 5 organisations or 5 titles. Okay, so you might have some spare boxes, but you should be able to find plenty of names of people, for example. Okay. The next question refers to common nouns. Okay, a common noun is what I refer to as a normal noun. Girl, woman, pen, tape, book, etc. Glasses. Okay, they don't take capital letters, but they're still the names of things, of places, town, bench, garden. Okay, or people. Girl, boy, daughter, son. Okay, so the common nouns are the normal ones that don't need capital letters. Okay, then the last question refers to adjectives. So adjectives go with nouns because adjectives are describing words, aren't they, for nouns? You came up with some great adjectives from one of the previous chapters. Splendid, sight. Magnificent, sound. And then you included some really strong adjectives in your writing, some of you as well. Some of you talked about a distant and deafening roar, for example. Okay, so adjectives describe nouns. So I've given you 3 nouns that crop up on those pages. One of them is artists. Okay, now remember, an artist might not just be someone who draws or paints. An artist could be a musical artist or a firework making artist, for example. Okay, rocket and Stetson hat. A Stetson hat is a cowboy hat, typically. Okay, what you've got to do is find the adjective that goes with each of those. Okay, so artists, does it say tall artists, noisy artists? Stetson hat, what does it say? Purple Stetson hat, tiny Stetson hat. All you need to do is find the noun in the text and see which adjective goes with it to describe it. Okay, so that is you for Thursday, and then us that are doing L1 English, we're going to meet up, hopefully, if everything works, on Friday, aren't we, anyway, to talk about what L1 we've done this week, and hopefully go on to the next part of the story, as we're getting very close to the end. Right, okay, I shall see you guys tomorrow on here and at the meeting, and have a lovely day.